No, Jay. No, look at the... Look at...
Last night I cracked the outside.
Is that hot? Do you like that? I'm not gonna cut my fingers.
There you go. You're having fun.
I never cut an apple before. I look like the picture of someone in a movie when they show their grandkids what they looked like when they were little. Like, I look like a young version of an old person.
My mother, I think, doesn't want an older looking child because it makes her look older. My sister doesn't want an older looking sister because it realizes that she sees herself in me and she wants to stay vibrant and young. And my daughter, also, everyone's promoting me to stay younger looking, care about the way I look. I do care about the way I look, but I'm proud to be growing older. I wouldn't go backwards. I want to show it, just like my pregnant stomach is a badge of honor that I've had kids. And the same thing is what I feel with my gray hair.
I just want, like, my whole thing is just like, I want to be able to live through my 20s looking like I am my age. And past that, like, when you're past the, like, fuck it years and you're into the years where you have to actually figure out what you're doing, like, then that's fine. Like, I can look like older than I am, but I prefer to look my age. Like, I don't want to look younger than me, obviously, and I don't want to look older than me, but I definitely don't want to look more than 5 years older than me. That would be yike-a-rooney and a half.
When a fruit is ripe and, like, ready, it, like, is usually hard. And when it's, like, no longer ripe and when it's actually starting to mold, it gets, like, squishy. And I feel like I'm very sensitive to the fact that, like, most fruit is not the most ripe you'll ever taste it. So it's always a little bit squishy. And I think a small part of me subconsciously feels like it's already begun to decompose, so I'm not into that. Or I think it just associated with the textures of things that have started to rot. I think the fact that it's, like, oozing and the fact that it's so squishy.
By its characteristic shape and manner, the grape and its cousin, the dehydrated raisin, which is closer to its demise than was the grape. The loss of moisture, the loss of water, which is the ingredient which all life requires. Without water, there is no life. And the loss of water is the shriveling is an indication that the end is not far away.
It's rumored the milk of 700 donkeys was needed for Cleopatra's daily baths to keep her skin smooth and youthful. Fatty acids in donkey milk lessen the appearance of fine lines and can help rejuvenate skin for a youthful glow. Using donkey milk promotes long-lasting hydration thanks to its richness in phospholipids, ceramides and proteins. With 4 times the vitamin C as cow's milk as well as vitamins A, B1, B2, B6, D, and E, donkey milk helps soothe irritated skin while replenishing it for that younger feel. It is used in high-end hand creams, moisturizers, cleansing soaps and waters, and face and body creams. Donkey milk cannot be as easily mass-produced as cow's milk. Donkey can only be milked by hand. Perhaps the reason donkey milk is so beneficial is because it is so close to human breast milk. Is your skin smooth enough?
An old woman has gray hair that's thinning on the top and stooped shoulders and shrinking a little bit just from all the gravity.
She's got long silver hair, it's like down to here, and big, and always has her red lipstick and her red cat eye glasses.
Probably wears hearing aids. Maybe has cataracts. Still as sharp as ever, just kind of trapped in her own head. Wrinkles. Like wrinkles on her wrinkles.
She's the space in which things, including herself, can grow.
But I'm scared enough that I won't find my words to answer questions, and people won't care about my answers. I want to be considered. I always want to be considered.
Think about the apples you get from the stores. They say it's completely edible, yet there's a coat of wax on the skin of the apple, which hides all the imperfections.
Baby food is the only product required by American law to have a printed expiration date. For all other food products, the choice to print an expiration date, and the date that is printed on the label is determined by individual companies. There are no regulations regarding the guidelines for setting expiration dates. After coming to American shelves in the 1970s, many companies print expiration dates on their products for the positive marketing it provides. Most expiration dates are not an accurate representation of an item's true shelf life. Food can last much longer than most of their advertised expiration dates. Fruit juices are acidic, and therefore it is harder for bacteria to grow in them. This makes fruit juices last far longer than most of their printed expiration dates. The high amount of added sugar in most fruit juices also act as a preservative and keep the fruit juice unspoiled. Fresh apple cider can only last about a week, but apple cider purchased from a store is good for up to 3 months. Stored properly, canned tomatoes will only last for a year and a half. Better safe than sorry.
On my 18th birthday, I went from my room, I looked in the mirror, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I ran out to my mom and was just like, I'm wrinkling. Like, you need to fix this. I'm wrinkling. And then so she took it really seriously. And then so she went out and got like the moisturizer that was the extra strength, like, anti-aging cream for old people. And I still use it. I don't like the idea of someone looking at me and then just seeing how old I am on my face. I use sunscreen and moisturizer every fucking day because I see my mom. I don't want wrinkles where she has wrinkles.
Yeah, if you put bananas next to other fruits, there's a real thing where it like helps ripen everything around it. So it's like this communal thing. But yeah, if you want your avocados to like ripen faster, you can put bananas next to them, or like plantains. That works best.
We would be a more vibrant population if we didn't have anything processed. Family, community, pollution issues would slow down and come together because the way you have to cook food and you would have to get fresh food and not have things always processed to maintain its shelf life. You would eat together at school, or you'd go home for lunch, or you'd sit at a restaurant because you realize how long things take, and we would support our farmers, and we wouldn't order stuff from across the world for the dollar store to eat. And there wouldn't be all the packaged stuff, putting a banana in a package when it already has a perfect package around it. And we'd have a much more fulfilling life.
That's why there's now even further labeling, because the first label of organic, lo and behold, there are these loopholes like, well, if you only use a certain percentage of pesticides, then it's still considered organic.
And with the box of dye, whether you do it at home or you do it at a salon, there's so many plastics. Things come in plastic. Thing has a plastic tube, a paper bottle, with all this dye on the outside.
All of these potions, they're chemicals piled on top of chemicals with some petroleum in it. I could wear it every day and not have a wrinkle on, like, anywhere. It's the craziest stuff. But what is it doing to me?
My mom was telling me a theory. She was like wondering like why women put on so much weight after a certain age compared to men, and like why their metabolisms like slow down so dramatically, especially compared to men. She's like, I think it's because after women like at like post-menopause, women were not considered in like prehistoric times as valuable to the community and to the family, and so her being fed was not prioritized as much. So they evolved to be able to get by with less food compared to men and like children who were prioritized, and like mothers who were prioritized.
At growers and stuff on farms, all like there's a whole bunch of fruit that they grow, obviously. And then so if you pick it off of the branch, you have to like put it in these buckets. But if you do it too harshly, then you'll bruise the fruit and it still tastes the same. But because it's bruised, then you just like, it's no longer usable. Society only wants to see the store fruit. You have to be delicate and undamaged, even though like all of this fruit, you don't know how it tastes really. It's just like you're just basing it off of physical appearance. And I mean, sometimes you're right, but also most of the time you're not, because that's a dumb way to judge how any of the other senses will be. It's just based off one.
Hopefully of old age, because I don't want to die another way, but sometimes I feel like my life is so much of a blessing that maybe I'll die soon. But I also feel like I have so much more to do. So if I did die, I would die unhappy. I just don't want to die happy.
I have my entire life said I was going to live to be until I was 300. I've been saying that since I was a little girl. I feel ageless.
Watermelon, mango, raspberry, strawberry, banana,
all of the
blueberry,
berries,
blackberry,
anything
peach
that has
cherries.
The word apple in it. So like pine and other ones.
Oh my god, what?
Banana.
crab.
pear,
What is it called? Pineapple?
orange, lemon,
Okay,
No,
so
crab
the
apple.
boring ones or
Guava,
whatever would be like
mango,
Find another one.
pineapple,
banana,
Orange
an
melon,
orange,
cherry,
lemon.
nectarine,
strawberry,
An avocado is a
grape,
fruit?
nectarine,
plum,
berry,
a pear,
tangerine,
Don't like that.
tangelos,
mandarin
mandarin.
This is how I good fruit. Whether or not you can
Just
justify
berries, just don't
putting
know.
it in a
I
fruit
don't even know if I
salad.
said
Blueberry.
fruit.
all the different
That's like
berries,
the
Raspberries.
fruit type things, and
Oh, my dad
berry,
loves
blueberry,
raspberries.
strawberry,
Must have
cherry,
gone.
a lemon, a lime, a pineapple,
Pomegranate.
mango, a papaya, lychee nut.
Well, yeah, I think that's all the fruit that this boy can name right now. Is it really obvious one I didn't mention that you can think of?
I'm scared of not aging.